All right, people. We are live, Western Welding Academy. And why don't you guys go ahead and throw some hearts across the screen if you can hear me. We got Nathan Ponder in the house.
How you guys doing tonight?
Yeah. We're going to be rating some welds, talking about welding, answering questions. So if you got some welds you want us to look at, go ahead and send them to us. DM us on Instagram. That's where we do our best work there. Instagram, rate them welds.
Been doing any welding lately?
Yeah, I did some welding last week, actually, matter of fact. And it was a good time. I had fun. Yeah, so. All right, if you want us to rate your welds, make sure you go into, send us an Instagram DM. We'll look at your welds.
Hopefully we get some 10s today.
Yeah.
I want to see some 10s.
Yeah.
Make sure you send your best work over.
Absolutely. Send it over. We're gonna wrap a couple of things up here and before we really fully get kicked off. But yeah, make sure you clean them things up, make them pretty and slick. Send them over to us on Instagram at Western Welding Academy in the DMs there. Looks like we got a few populating in. I don't know if anybody's joining us from TikTok, but yeah, make sure you drop us a comment, share this live stream. You got questions, we got answers. Yeah, we're here for you. We're here for you, people. Nathan, what you been working on?
Oh, haven't been doing any special projects after the old TIG rig there, but just go out to the shop every now and then, make a few welds.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's world's largest TIG rig. World's largest TIG rig.
That was actually pretty fun to build.
Yeah.
See if it would work.
You did a good job on that too. That was cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. So the winner of tonight's Rate My Weld, we're going to send you a hat. Hat or a pair of sunglasses, or maybe even both. Yeah, so send in, like Nathan says, send in your best work, and we'll check it out. We'll see what you guys are working on, if there's ways we can help you. We do this for you. We do this for you guys, the viewers. So looks like we got some people coming in, and looks like there's a weld there. Stan Sherwin. Old Stan Sherwin. What do you think there? That looks like a...
Did a little stainless weld and expansion joint there.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got some pretty color.
Yeah, looks like he took his time with that.
Yeah.
Is that on a... Oh, that's an expansion joint, huh?
Yeah.
Piping system.
Haven't seen one of them in a while. Last time I seen one of those was down in Brunswick, Georgia, on the paper mills.
Oh, them are good.
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of them in stainless and titanium.
Oh yeah,
pretty fun to work around.
Yeah. What? Tell us about the paper mills. What's your favorite part about working on a paper mill?
Leaving.
Leaving.
No, they're fun. I mean, they are pretty stinky. There's a lot going on there. Lots and lots of nasty chemicals there to turn that wood into nice, pretty white paper. No, the funnest part, I guess, is all the exotic metals and stuff you get to work with. I mean, there's stainless, there's duplex stainless, 6% chromoly, titanium, all kinds of stuff. It was pretty interested in being able to play around with all that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I always, I know the permitting process to get a paper mill permitted is a pretty lengthy process, according to some of the paper mill guys that I've talked to, and so they don't build that many new ones, but they'll rehab the living piss out of some of them things.
Oh yeah, that one we were in, it was old. I mean, it was borderline. The old part of it was like the pipe racks were like falling down. Like we were building a new bleach plant on it. It was fun. Right down on the Gulf.
Oh,
Not
that'd be
the Gulf,
cool.
but it was on the coast.
Close, yeah. Huh, that'd be cool. Yeah, old paper mills there. I worked in some, I worked up in Wana paper mill up in Clatskanie, Oregon. And yeah, you're right, they stink, but man, there's so much in those things. The piping systems, just the exotics, the chemicals they use to, a lot of people take toilet paper for granted, but you can't wipe your butt without a welder.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, it's an extreme amount of stuff that goes in just to make toilet paper.
Yeah.
It was over in Bear River City, Utah. Went and did one over there too, and that one was pretty unique. It was all brand new from the ground up. This was 2009 or so.
Oh yeah.
But it was pretty cool. It was all inside because it was up a little further north, all cold. Everything down south's outside.
Yeah.
This thing is all inside. Imagine the building that thing was in.
So they do make some new ones. That you said that one was brand new.
It was brand new from the ground up there, but I mean that was several years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know about now.
Huh. Well, that's good to hear though that they've got permits for paper mills, and because that was one of the of course this is back in 2008 and what little I did at the paper mills. I mean that was one of the things that they said that the permits was really hard to get. But that's good.
A lot of chemicals going on in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of action in the paper mills. So, what are you going to give this guy, Nathan? He it looks like he cleaned it up pretty nice, and colors are beautiful, real consistent. What does he say there in the comment section? He says all freehand. So he didn't walk the cup. All freehand dab action right there. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty dang nice. Zoom back in on that thing. Let's look around that.
He going in for the second look.
Yeah, we got to get a close one on that one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good looking weld.
Yeah, that's a good looking weld. Pretty clean.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful colors. What do you suppose the other side looked like? He didn't brush the colors off, which, I mean, when they're that beautiful, why would you?
Yeah, why would you?
But he definitely cleaned the material up real nice before he started welding. And that's a pretty nice freehand job. I don't know. What do you think? Like 8.5? That's tough to beat. Maybe a 9?
I was going to say 9.
Yeah, 9? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice weld.
Well, great job, Stan Sherwin. We appreciate you participating and sending us weld to look at there. Pretty slick looking weld. What do we got here from, who's that from? Christian? Emoji sign Christian. Looks like a 4-inch piece of pipe. I'm just judging by the look on that there channel or vice grips there. What do you think? 4-inch?
It's like about a 4.
Yeah.
Little carbon TIG.
Beautiful job. Beautiful.
Looks like everybody's starting to clean their welds up a little nice.
Yeah, they're brushing them and cleaning them and shining them. And, yeah, that's good. That's good. Little side ripple there, though, that I don't care much for on the left side. I mean, if I was just really just to nitpick that thing to death, which it definitely is not like me, but
it does kind of look like the wire was held a little bit further to the left than it was on the center of the weld. It looks a little heavier on the left side, which if it was in a 60, it would make total sense. Yep. Everything would be on the bottom side.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty good.
What are we giving him? Looks like he shined it up pretty good, and a little side ripple pretty consistently. You think he's running his heat right there, Nathan?
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, Could probably slow down a little bit on the walking back and forth on your sides. Roll in out the sides a little bit more. They'll smooth your edges up a little bit more. Give you more time to make them nice and straight.
Yeah.
But I would say that's an 8.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I do, one of the things I'm a really big believer in when I'm capping on TIG is I like to dull my tungsten just a hair. Kind of softens that arc up a little bit and makes the edges just a little bit smoother.
Oh, yeah.
It keeps that arc just, instead of just being such a laser beam focus, it kind of flares it out a little bit. And when you get to the edges, it just smooths the edges up just a little bit.
Helps wet the puddle out a little bit easier. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually learned that from this old man, which at the time he seemed old, but he's probably really old right now. But his name was Mike Jerkowitz, and he was ornery, but he was an incredible welder. That training center that I learned to weld in, he'd get guys come in there complaining about the wire's bad, the argon's bad. You know, they'd have all these excuses when they couldn't pass his welding test, and so he would fish out some little stubs out of the garbage, and he'd take a 2-inch Schedule 80, and he would to show him that the argon was good, he would purge out a carbon steel 2-inch Schedule 80 carbon steel, and he would take stainless steel rod stubs out of the garbage cans, the scrap metal cans, and he could just put this perfect bead in. That's where I learned that wiggle, wiggle, pause on a weld test. Wiggle, wiggle, pause. Mike Jerkowitz. Yes, sir. Portland, Oregon. Phenomenal welder.
Okay. I've only run into that bad argon like once or twice in the whole welding career. I mean, it was actually legitly like you swap a bottle, there was a difference. But, I mean, that stuff's usually tested before they send it out, so it's usually pretty good.
Chances of it happening.
They're pretty slim.
Yeah, pretty slim to none. And it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't happening in this. They had good argon, and it always just cracked me up watching him pull them things out and snake one in there. I mean, it was just incredible. Yeah. So what are we giving old dude here? Old Christian.
I was thinking 8 on that one. I mean, it's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Nice prep job. Cleaned up out away from your weld quite a bit, so you didn't pick up contaminants on the side of your weld.
Yeah. 8 it is. Yeah, great job, Christian. Yeah. Got a few more people joining us here. If you're joining us, best place to view this live stream is Instagram at Western Welding Academy. That's also where you would drop us a DM with all your welds. If you want us to take a look at your welds, maybe critique them a little bit, tell you if you're, from what we can see, what we can help you on with your welding, send them over to us. And, yeah, we'd love to check them out and give our input and insight. Yeah. Nathan Ponder, obviously everybody knows him. He's the Pondermatic. He is the slickest TIG welder in the history of America, actually.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, no. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yes, sir. Okay, we got Tristan. What do we got? Tristan Smiley. Old Smiley. I wonder if he smiles a lot. I bet he does when he's welding. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty. He sent us a bunch of little pictures there. What's he got there? What is that, 7018? He's welding with those little BuzzBox Millers.
Miller.
With a wireless remote. What's that?
Showing
That's
us
oh, yeah. So, side profile.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
If I could weld that good, I might be smiling too.
I don't know about all that. But I'd be smiling too with that weld. That's sharp. Yeah, looking good. Fillet weld. Looks about like a 1/4-inch fillet weld. Great job, Tristan Smiley. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Welded all the way through.
Yeah.
Didn't miss the ends.
Yep. It doesn't look like he even broke arc. And if he did, if there's a start and a stop in there, I'm impressed. It looks like he's done a good job. If he could do anything better, what would it be, Nathan?
Ooh. Well, I don't know. Ripples look good. Travel speed looks like it's pretty decent. The sides from here look like they're tied in pretty good. Don't really see any undercut.
Yeah. I'd 2-bead cap that thing. That's just me. I mean, I like that. I like a 1-pass cap. There's no doubt. I like a 1-pass cap, but there is just something just so beautiful about a 2-pass cap, putting one low and then stacking one right above it, and it just gives it that real even, like 2 or 3 pass caps. They just, in my opinion, now in some places they just want a 1-pass, but I love a multiple pass cap.
Yeah, it all depends on what they're calling for on their specs. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's just a 1/8" fillet weld, 1-pass, but like them quarters, I'm right there with you. Especially if like you get the 2 beads, whatever, it gets you humped up in the middle just a little bit. It'll always keep you from getting low and below flush in the middle and get that concave look. Definitely, you don't want the concave if they're going around putting a gauge on it.
Yeah.
They'll call you on that.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're having to grind some out and put some more weld back on, because if you just lay another one right over the top, you have too much.
Yeah.
So you got to do extra work to
Yeah.
fix it. Definitely been there, done that.
Yeah. Learning, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great job, Tristan Smiley. I don't know, in my opinion, that thing was like a 7.5. He cleaned it, he shined it up, he cleaned his welds. I mean, wiped smoke down.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they just whoop that weld on there, beat that slag off, don't take no time to wire wheel it or brush it or make it look pretty. And so, yeah, great job. Great job. All right.
Yeah.
We got
Radical Operations.
Radical Operations. I've heard, rumor has it, that this guy is a really, really good welder.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's just rumor. Now, I'd like to maybe get across the pipe from him. But somebody's just revving the ever-loving piss out of that Harley out there.
Well, it's probably that race car we just welded up the headers on for him the other day.
Oh, that probably is. Yeah, we actually sponsored that race car, too, by the way. So if he's watching live, hey, good luck out there. I hope you win the race, because you're definitely tearing up my live stream audio. Yeah, so Radical Operations. Rumor has it this guy is a really, really slick welder. I haven't met him. I've been wanting to meet him, and I've been really wanting to weld some pipe with him. But it looks like he sent us in a TIG weld. I don't know if we can zoom in on that TIG weld just a little bit, but
Ooh, it looks like MIG.
look at that. Is that a TIG weld?
Looks like MIG to me.
Looks like
Maybe
MIG,
it's
doesn't
TIG.
it? Yeah. That's pipe, so that's interesting looking. What is that, Nathan? Looks like they brushed that paint back. Is that a hardwire MIG? Surely that's not. Oh, that's a cool looking weld. I wonder where that is. Send him a DM and ask him where that weld is. But hey, it's clean, it's shiny, it's beautiful, it's pretty. What do you think? What are you gonna give him, Nate? That's a 9 all day long in my book,
9?
at least. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good looking
nice.
weld. And I know from what I've heard, rumor on the street is Radical Operations. That guy is a super, super slick TIG hand.
Like
It's a
to meet him.
freehand TIG in the
Ooh.
pipe rack.
All right.
That's an, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I can freehand TIG that nice. That's
No,
pretty
that's pretty
impressive.
slick.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to up my score a little bit, dude. If that's freehand TIG, that's a 10 all day long.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's pretty consistent. All them ripples in there, yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's flawless. That's impressive. So I think it's quite possible that Radical Operations is completely living up to the rumor that I heard that this guy was one slick buck. Yeah. Yeah, that's impressive. I'm gonna give him a 10, dude. That's a stellar weld.
Yeah.
Ask him, send him a message. Ask him if that was his weld. Yeah. What do we got in the comment section? Anything good in there that we want to answer? What's the youngest welder you have ever seen on the job? This is from user 16273. Nathan, what's the youngest welder you ever seen on the job?
Well, I was the youngest welder on the job for like about 5 years straight. I got out. First job, I was 18. I mean, 3 months after I turned 18, got out of welding school and went straight to refineries, and I was the youngest kid on the job till another 18-year-old finally showed up.
Yeah.
But it's pretty hard to hang with those old dogs there. They're good.
What year was that?
2007.
Yeah.
Spring of 2007.
Because you and I broke out, I think, I broke out in the summer of 2007.
Summer?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was by far, I was 18. Yeah. I was by far the youngest welder on the job. And, you know, towards the later part of my career, it wasn't that uncommon to work with an 18-year-old kid, though. And
No.
yeah, matter of fact, I was on a pipeline project in Watford City, North Dakota, and one of the hot pass hands, I was running beads, and one of the hot pass hands, you know, running beads, you want to take care of the hot pass hand, because if you put him in too thin, it just makes his life miserable, right? And he come up and spelled off the other bead hand, and I was welding with him, and this kid that was with him was just this little beanpole, looked pretty young, and he had kind of grown a little chin hair out, you know, and had a couple tattoos, but I was like and he had sunglasses on, his hard hat, and I was having a hard time, you know, figuring out how old he was, and so I asked him how old he was, and he just big old smile. He's like, 17. And I said, you're not even legal to be on this job. How is this possible, you know? And he's like, he points at the welder, because this kid was a helper, you know, he wasn't a welder, but he was a helper. He said, well, this is my dad, and my dad bought me a fake ID.
Nice.
And about that time, his dad lifts up his hood, and he said, man, it was either that or leave him home with his crackhead mama. And, I just thought that was cooler than ever. He said, I've been packing him around since he was 15 years old. And he said, as soon as he turned 16, we went down to the flea market in Houston, got him a fake ID, and he said, I've had him hired out, you know, ever since. And the kid was a working fool. I mean, he was a good worker. He was smart. You know, yeah, it was just, I cracked me up. So, youngest individual I ever worked for, 17. But as an 18-year-old kid, I was the youngest welder on the job a lot. Yeah. Yeah, good question. Good question. So, what is it? Griff78 says, where are y'all located? We are in the best state in America, Gillette, Wyoming.
307.
Yep, we are the only state that I know of that only has one area code, and it's 307. That's what Nathan's referring to. Best state in America right there. The most, by far, the freest state in America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have more freedom here than anywhere else in the world, quite honestly. Better than Switzerland. Straight up. Yep. That's where we're located, Gillette, Wyoming. Best state in the world.
So what was that? Who was that saying? They went to Sturgis from out of state. They went to Sturgis. Well, they got pulled over in Wyoming on a motorcycle.
Oh,
the cop
yeah.
asked him, do you have a gun on you? He said, no. He goes, well, why not?
Yeah. Like, why don't you have a gun on you? You know, you're in Wyoming. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of our buddies from Outlaw Leather.
Oh, that was Outlaw.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Looks like, what do you like better, Lincoln or Miller? That's from Landon Taylor 1474 coming to us from TikTok. One thing I'd like to throw out there, if you guys are watching this live stream on TikTok, make sure you go over to Instagram. It's way better, trust me.
Yes.
We know that TikTok's going downhill, and so, I mean, make sure you go over there to Instagram, follow us there, send us a DM. You know, if you want us to look at your welds, DM us on Instagram, and we'll check them out. But this comment does come to us from TikTok because, you know, TikTok's a little bit of a safe space here for some people. So, but this live stream is a lot better on Instagram. Just saying, you know. But I don't know, Nathan. How do you answer that, Lincoln or Miller?
I still toss up.
Yeah.
I still like the Lincolns for just my old short hood I got for engine drives. I don't know. I mean, it's just those new Millers got a lot of technology in them. They are awesome. I was gonna say Miller for the electric machines, but them new Lincolns we got in really freaking give them a run for their money. It's a tie. I think. I mean, they're close.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think everybody that's ever been here, been part of our live streams, or been involved with Western Welding Academy and Tyler Sassy at all, it's pretty clear that I bleed blue. Miller, hands down. There is no other welding machine. I'm not even going to say the L word in the presence of the live stream nation. But, yeah, Miller Electric, best welding machine in the world, my opinion, which basically is the only thing that you should be worried about. Right? Am I wrong? No.
But, I mean...
But the old short hoods, they
I would have to say probably one of the best welding machines I ever welded with was the Lincoln 200D.
Yeah.
Like that is like in my opinion, the holy grail of machines. You find one with 10,000 hours on, they still want 10 grand for it.
Yeah. But we do have a Lincoln 200G in the shop, and that machine has the same generator. It just has a GM motor, right? It's got the arc force, and dude, them 200Gs are, well, I welded with that one that we have, and
that thing's pretty slick too.
Yeah. So there is a little rumor on the street that we might give that one away.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can confirm or deny that here tonight, but we may or may not be giving away a Lincoln 200G. I just said the L word. Yeah. All right, let's see. We got another weld to look at. Devonte Acuna. What's he got? I know there is some porosity, but that is because while I was on the forklift up top, it started getting real windy, and I swayed around a bit.
Nice.
Oh, mic drop right there. It was getting a little windy. I was on top. What I want to know, literally, my question is, what were you doing on top of the forklift?
Right. That was going to be my question. Welding off the forklift.
OSHA wasn't within 100-mile radius, right?
No, I've welded out some man baskets off some cranes, some man lifts in some pretty crazy conditions, but never welded off a forklift.
You never welded off the top of a forklift. Hence the porosity on top. But he did wire wheel that thing. He did brush it. He did clean it, right? I mean, you can't, I don't know, dude. It's hard to argue with #hustle, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Great job. I don't know if he cropped out the porosity, but I don't know if we could zoom in on that a little bit, but I don't see the porosity. Ooh, right there. Sure enough. I don't know, dude. Devonte Acuna, like, I'm probably just going to give you, like, a bonus extra 5 points for, like, the #hustle factor, you know? I mean, I don't know, dude. It's hard for me to argue with this on top of the forklift, and it swayed around a little bit. He just sent another message. What did he say? He said it was the only way I could access the motor mount.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Hats off to you, Devonte Acuna. Yeah, that's killer right there. Like, I got mad respect for the man that'll do whatever it takes to win, because that's what it's all about, right? It's about that work ethic and hustling. I don't know. It's got some porosity in it, though. Nate, what are you giving him?
Yeah, that's a pretty tough one with the porosity. I mean, it don't matter what excuses you come up with. I mean, at QC, he's going to look at that and make you fix it. So
they want him clean, right?
I mean,
but the bead is straight.
It is.
I wish there was like a zoomed out picture, you know what I mean, where we could like see everything what this cat was working with, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to see the position he had to be in.
Yeah.
Just with the porosity, I mean, I'd be pretty technical on that, but I'd say a 6.
6.
But I mean, if it's work ethic and getting there, I'd have to give you a 10.
Yeah. So 10 on work ethic, 6 on the weld. Great job, Devonte Acuna. My hat's off to you. I got mad respect for that. Yeah. All right, we got a comment coming to us from the TikToker Nation user 578501474. He says, I want to join your school. I'm only 16, though. What do I do for now? What does he do for now, Nathan?
Well, I'd say for now is start jumping in your welding programs in your high school and start getting practiced up. I mean, the younger you start learning, the faster you start learning, and the quicker you can get out there in the field.
Yeah. I would. My advice would be just the same. You know what I mean? Go out there. If your high school's got anything that's even like vaguely, remotely, somewhat got the word welding into it, just get in there, learn everything you can learn about the power tools, learn about the processes, learn the welding machines, equipments, study, look, research, watch the live stream every night here at Western Welding Academy. Follow us on social media. We will be here. We're not going anywhere. When you're 18 and you graduate high school, hey, come see us. We'd love to help you.
Yeah.
In the meantime, learn all you can right there in high school. That's good stuff. So, Jaden Martinez, what you got? Jaden Martinez, he sent us 2 welds. 2 welds. It looks like a 6010 that definitely was not wire wheeled. And the other weld, stainless steel, pretty good looking colors.
Yeah, that's pretty nice weld there.
3-inch pipe, probably, if I had to guess. Which one does he want us to rate? Rate the crappy one. Rate the crappy one. We're going with that one. How did you know that was the crappy one? What if I meant the other one? All right. Now, Quasey knows. But look at the bead and the dime stackage on this. Really good. But Quasey is 100. He's 1,000% right. You got to clean the welds before you send them in.
It didn't look like a cleaned the base metal too well either. There's looks like a lot of mill scale on there. Or it might be rust from. Maybe that's just rust from cooling it off. But.
Yeah, or a little smoke maybe or something. But yeah, you're right. I'm I don't know, dude. I'm giving him a 5. He didn't clean it.
Yeah, 5's pretty solid.
Yep. Indication of the running and gunning. You got to clean your welds. Clean your welds, Jaden Martinez, and come see us next week on the Western Welding Academy live stream, and we'll look at them again.
Yeah, that's the number one thing on the job. If you say, I mean, when I was first coming out, broke out welding, I had to go back and I admit I had to go back and fix a few welds here.
Did
and there.
you? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't perfect. It took a long time to get good.
Yeah.
But that's the last thing you want to do is to climb 100 feet back up that tower.
Yeah.
And go hit one little freaking speck of splatter with the file just to make the QC happy.
Yes.
They will make you do it.
Oh man, you're bringing back so many memories. I was working on these evap towers. The first job I ever worked on was an ethanol plant. This was when
I was gonna say evaps as ethanol.
Yes, yeah. So I was working on this evap tower, and the vessel, the tower itself. So the vessel, it was stainless steel, and so we had all this piping on it, right? And the carbon pipe, we had to weld these carbon steel shoes to the vessel. And have you ever welded any of that stainless stick rod 309?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes. And what happens? So for anybody that's out there who doesn't know that much about stainless steel, when you weld it, it expands a lot, but then when it cools, it shrinks a whole bunch. And so when you stick weld, you got the slag, and it. If you didn't know how to weld very good, you could kind of mistaken it to be something similar to 7018. But what happens when you weld it, that metal, it cools and it shrinks, but the slag doesn't shrink with it. And so what happens is that slag, it pops off. And let me tell you what, when you're done welding, you better have your hood down and you better be wearing safety glasses because that stuff is coming at you. Yes, bang, and it's all over and it's hot and it like, I swear it just comes for all the sensitive areas in your face, your nose, your mouth, your lips, like, and we had to weld all these shoes on, and man, there was this old welder, and he's probably long dead by now, but and he was into yoga, and this guy would do yoga at the like. He would have like this pre-meeting before this safety meeting by himself, and he would do yoga in the job shack. You know, I mean, and this guy smoked a lot of pot, right? And oh, it was hilarious because, and I'm pretty sure he was smoking pot like before work, you know. And he would be in there doing this yoga and like just, and I'm 18. I mean, I ain't, you know, never been anywhere in the world, seen anything, and I'm like, holy crap, we got this pothead in the trailer doing yoga before stretch and flex, before the safety meeting. But the guy was an incredible welder. And, you know, of course, the foreman comes by. And you didn't, on this particular job, you didn't have to be certified to weld the supports. And so on these evap towers, I mean, I'm welding all the supports. And the foreman, he just comes by and hands me this box of 309 stainless steel stick rod. And he's like, here you go, this is what you weld the hangers with. You know, when you get to the hangers, of course, I was welding all the pipe and the hangers all in one as we were going up the side of these towers. But I went back and I talked to that welder, and because I couldn't run the stuff, you had to run it uphill, and I couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't make it look even just halfway resemble a nice looking weld. And this guy was incredible, and he showed me how to do it. You know, I was running it way too hot and just dab and hold the sides, kind of like 70-18, but you couldn't tell the difference between the puddle and the slag, and so you just had to like. You could once you really got good at welding it, but you had to just kind of trust that it was going right. And of course, slag's popping off all over the place. And these towers are insulated, and the insulation's like, I don't know, 8 inches a foot thick, and it had that tin on the, you know, the corrugated tin around the towers.
Oh yeah.
And I was 18. I was an idiot, right? I mean, I didn't know, and I'm welding, you know, and then I'm flinging these rod stubs in the insulation because, like, you know, this is before I knew to, like, I knew the wisdom of carrying a stub bucket, you know, and so, I spent weeks welding on these things, you know. I'd swap my leads because we were TIG welding all the pipe, you know, all the pipe was stainless and carbon, and so I'd swap my leads, I'd weld the hangers, and I just kept stuffing, and anyways, the insulators. This was like, I don't know, we'd moved on to the other part of the project, and the general foreman comes up to me, and he's just like beet red, and he like can't hardly talk, you know, and I'm like, oh, he ain't looking for me. Like, he's never had that look when he, you know what I mean? Because I was a pretty good worker, dumb, you know. And he comes up and he throws these pictures down, like the crime scene photos, you know. And he's like, boom. I'm looking, and it's like these pictures of all these rod stubs, all these rod stubs crammed in this insulation, you know. He's like, hey, any idea where this came from? I'm like, you know, like, I ain't gonna lie to him, but it was at that moment that I learned the wisdom of carrying a stub bucket. And I've carried a stub bucket ever since, and I've never stuck a rod stub in insulation again. Yeah. So, brought a lot of memories back there.
Yeah, that's the first place I ever welded on that stainless 309 stick rod too, was ethanol plant.
Ethanol
Welding
plant.
ladders, brackets on the tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, vertical.
Yeah.
You're right. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a good, it wasn't hard once I got the hang of it, but man, getting the hang of it was tough.
Yeah, when you're young and just learning, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But don't give up. You'll get it.
Yep.
Go grab one of them old timers and ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them how to do it, because they'll be more than willing to help you out.
Yeah, I never met one that wouldn't show me something. If I asked him, I never met all them old guys. They were so good. Yeah, they were awesome to work with. Yeah. Okay, we got a comment from Nick Wool 347 on Instagram. He has a question here. He says, "What's the best way to run 6011? Also, what motion would y'all use while running downhill and horizontal on T-joints?" 6011. I bet this kid's in high school.
Oh, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I call that the farmer's rod.
Yeah. So 6011, that was actually a cellulose rod. It was my understanding now. This super. This rod's really common in high schools, but it isn't common anywhere else. Maybe an old muffler shop and a 2-bit broken down town or something. But what I was told was this rod was designed for the AC. It was basically the 6010 version for the AC, the old Tombstone AC machines.
I actually welded, I guess it was 6013, I guess. Down in my neighbor's back in Missouri, his forks broke on the tractor for the hay bales, the spear, and he had me welded up for him. And he had the old AC buzz box, freaking welded like a dream.
Really? 6013.
Yeah, it was a 6013. It wasn't a 6011.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of similarities with. Oh, look at that! Graduated last year,
rod.
welding on the farm. Yep, welding on the farm. Yeah. Send him a DM back. Ask Mr. Nick Wool. Maybe he's watching old 347. I'd love to see a picture of the weld machine that he's using.
Oh yeah.
I bet you $20, Nathan. It's AC weld machine. No.
I'd say you're probably right.
Maybe we'll get lucky here. He'll send us a picture of that weld machine. Best way to run 6011, in my opinion, you need to be stepping that. So it being a cellulose rod, it's a fast freeze rod. What's going to happen is when you light that up, you got a puddle. As soon as you step that electrode, that rod out, that puddle's going to freeze. So you want to be stepping it, kind of whipping it. When you come back, you're depositing. You step out, that's a cleaning motion. It cleans the parent metal out ahead of you, and then you whip back and you deposit. So clean, deposit, clean, deposit, clean, deposit. And that whip, it's not a long whip. I'm exaggerating with my fingers, but it's maybe, I don't know, not even quite a 1/4 inch. I mean, it's an 1/8 of an inch, 3/16, somewhere in there.
I'd say a rod and a half.
Rod and a half, yeah, yep.
Depending on the size of the rod, like 1/8 rod, I'd say rod and a half.
Yeah. So stepping out, back in, and that's how you get that real pretty dime look. And pretty much any position, uphill, downhill, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
Like I do that whip stack or clean deposit method. Yeah. That will serve you well. It's a high penetration rod, but it's a 60 thousandths tensile strength, and so it will be a little bit brittle. Like if it's on, if you're welding it on the farm, it's not something that I would maybe want to have like a lot of vibration or, because it's going to be a little brittle, but it is a high penetrating rod. A lot of times you take 6011 or 6010 and you put a couple passes as like a cleaning, like a real high penetration rod, and then you put like a 7018 over the top of it, which is way better for vibration. It's a lot more flexible. It's gonna, it's stronger. It's a higher tensile strength. It's just all around a better rod for vibration. I mean, which is why it's primarily used in piping applications, with what we do.
Yeah, that's my go-to if I got to repair anything. I'll grab, like, if I got to fill a gap, I'll grab 6010, put it together, and then I run 7018 just because it's way more flexible.
Stronger and flexible. Stronger. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's my go-to too. Same thing. Clean it with 6010, get it fused together, pile that 7018 on it. It's good stuff. What we got here? OBS Fabian, he says, oh no, sorry, he didn't say nothing. He just sent us a picture. Ooh, look at that. Stainless steel.
Fillet TIG weld, huh?
Fillet TIG weld. The real question I got for him, is he walking the cup? It looks like he is because you got to see them cup marks on the side of it.
Slide marks on there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's got the slide marks. He's probably walking the cup. That's a beautiful looking fillet weld.
Yes, it is.
You know what I like to do on these kind of fillet welds because this guy, you can see by the vice grips, and I can tell by that plate that's underneath that stainless steel plate. He's at a welding school or he's at a high school somewhere, which the weld that's that pretty, he's not at a high school. But one of the things that I like our students to do is that last little half inch where you started. I like to turn around on the far right side of this weld. I like to turn around and I like to run the other way, left-handed, and run the plate out, because it's or if you're left-handed, do it with your right hand. But it's just really good practice. It uses up all the material, and then it gives you just a little bit of a little glimpse of using your offhand, right?
Yeah.
Your non-dominant hand. So that's a little trick. I mean, obviously it's not going to look as pretty, but that's how you get good. That's how you're going to get that thing to be really, really good looking and pretty.
And it's always good to practice a full penetration weld. Like I'm doing fillet welds, and I like to wrap my corners, unless that's the way I stated not to. But
Yes.
I always like wrapping my corners. That way you get that nice weld all the way around. There's no fracture points or anywhere for that weld to break.
Yeah, no opportunity for that thing to pull apart. Yeah. But given what he sent us, what are you giving him? What are you going to rate him?
Looks like you got the plate kind of warm, no? I mean,
Got a little warp to it.
got her a little warped, got a little hot, and then put a nice weld on it after it cooled down.
Mm-hmm.
But the weld itself, give her 7.5. Probably would have did a little bit more if it was welded all the way out.
Yeah.
Complete from end to end.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, 7.5. Great job. Great job. Oh, looks like Radical Operations says, yes, that's my weld. I've got more welds if they want to see more of them like that. Yes. Yes. I want to see it. That's dude, full send. That's I don't know, dude. That's premium. That's pristine right there.
Never get tired of looking at nice weld.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, send them in. Radical Operations. Send them in.
What do you got here? Chris?
All right, Chris Scully.
I couldn't read last name.
He says, just messing around, backyard welder, Ontario, self-taught, just passed my 1G flat on X-ray. Ontario, is that Canada?
Yeah,
He's
cool.
a Canadian, eh? Yeah, the red, white, and the red, right? The red, white, and the red, the Canadians, eh? So I actually worked up on the North Slope, and let me tell you what, those Canadians, dude, absolute fire breathers. We were we're on the North Slope of Alaska, we were right in Dead Horse, about as far north as you can get. I'm telling you what, cold, wind blowing sideways, and they shipped in a whole crew of Canadians, and they come in and they had the what do they got, like a maple leaf star on their flag, and their Canadian flag was on their shoulders of their uniforms, and they're big old strapping lads from somewhere in Canada, I don't know, and I didn't know that much about Canada, and I didn't know that they were these old dudes were pretty spicy, and they come in and they got Arctic doors, where there's like a door you got to go through. You shut that door and you come into the next door. It keeps the wind from blowing straight into the camps or into the rigs, and bang, bang. Them doors are always banging, and these guys come in, and I see the Canadian flag, and I was like, hey, because that's how they talk, right? hey, and he's like, hey, mate, I'm like, hey, our hockey team's better than yours. It's just the first thing that came to mind. Dude, those were like fighting words. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? No. I'm like, yeah, oh, yeah, mate. Our hockey team's way better than yours, which I know nothing about hockey, And, oh, yeah, he was like, man, lying in the sand. He was ready to throw down, ready to duke it out. Yeah, he was fired up. I didn't realize that. I mean, this dude got wound tight. Yeah. Yeah, he was all about that hockey team. But Ontario, that's like the capital of Canada. Yeah.
There's a lot of welding up in Canada, too.
There is. A lot of pipelines, too. A lot of big pipelines. A lot of oil. A lot of industry, all in all. Yeah. Yeah. We get a fair amount of viewers from Canada.
So it looks like some 70-18 on the plate.
Yeah. That bead on the right looks pretty good. Looks like the travel speed's a little bit quick, that one on the left, though.
Yeah, it's got the V's are getting a little pointed in there. They turn them into U's.
Mm-hmm.
Slow your speed down a little bit.
Keep them nice and round. He did clean this, I can tell, but with a hand brush. It doesn't look like he wire wheeled it. Because you can tell by the way it's brown. Because he started working the middle and working his way out.
Oh, yeah.
Just my observation. So he did clean it, but he didn't wire wheel it, which stick welds, I just highly recommend you wire wheel them. But, we kind of talked a little bit about this last week, and there is there's some beauty schools that are masquerading as welding schools. They don't allow wire wheels in the the students play with dolls at lunchtime and stuff, but they only give him hand brushes. So it could be he's from Canada, right?
I did say backyard.
We know our hockey team is better, but they may not give wire wheels up there, right? So I'm gonna give dude a shout out here for cleaning that weld with the available resources that he had. That's phenomenal. Like he didn't just snap pictures, and he went for it. So dude, big shout out, but slow the travel speed down a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah. Anything else he could do? It's getting a little bit wide at the end, a little bit narrower, like he's holding them just a hair tighter at the top than he is at the bottom. But all in all, pretty nice. Little wiggle here and there, but pretty nice.
Overlap's pretty good on the first three on the left. That last one there kind of starts getting overlapped, starting to get a valley in between there. Mm-hmm. I usually like running, stacking beads like that. I like running the center of my rod right down the toe of that weld before. Let that thing catch right down the middle ripple of that weld it had before and get a good 50% overlap.
Yeah. Yep. What are you giving him, Nathan? You want me to rate this one? No?
I'll give him backyard welding. Give you an 8 on that. That's pretty nice. Just slow her down a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, good job, Chris Scully from Ontario, Canada. I mean, I will say I think our hockey team is better. Just saying. Minnesota Wilds. Come on. You betcha. Okay, well, let's see. We got another Rate My Weld here from Blake Uner. Is that how I'm probably butchering that last name. Blake Ulner? Is there an L in there? No, Blake Uner. 5G TIG weld, 12-inch, schedule 80. Ooh, look at that thing. 12-inch, schedule 80. What wall thickness is that?
Well, the beads on the width, so wall thickness, that's just under 5. Just under 500 wall.
I thought it was over. Where's my app? So, for anybody that doesn't know, I carry this handy little pocket app. It's called Piping Database Extreme. And, dude, if you're going to weld pipe for a living, that's a must-have. It's, I don't know, I bought this thing I bought this on my first iPhone, and I've had it for so long I can't remember. I think it was like $20. And it's got the takeoff of every fitting, flange, valves, pipe schedules. I mean, it's got a ton of information. I mean, all this stuff is all, like this information never changes. And so once you have it, right? And so somebody built this app a long, long time ago. It's Piping Database Extreme. And it allows me to go through and select the pipe size and the wall thickness. So if I go to 12-inch schedule 80, 688 wall.
Oh, it is
what it says.
5/8, huh? Just over 5/8.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's a
he says schedule 80, so that's schedule 80. But sometimes people get extra strong mixed up with schedule 80 because extra strong and schedule 80 do line up on 2-inch, but 12-inch extra strong, which is not the same as schedule 80, but I could see where he would get that's 500 wall. 12-inch extra strong is 500 wall, but 12-inch schedule 80 is 688 wall. Either way, that's a really wide cap, I guess is what I'm getting at.
It is. I was going to say, you must have had a pretty tight gap to be able to go all the way across
Total
that, because I bet them bevels are.
Yeah. That's I wonder what size rod he was using on that, what size wire. 532 or 3/16 to make it that wide, and because that's really, really consistent. Like I've welded some pipe that thick, and it's tough to get it that consistent and that precise.
Yeah, you start going wide like that, it's really hard to get them edges nice and straight.
Yes.
You're traveling so far with your wrist.
That almost doesn't even look like 12-inch. Does that look like 12-inch? Like when you look at that, and I mean, obviously it's not sitting on the floor, but like.
Oh, cameras are pretty deceiving.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of deceptive. Either way, that's a beautiful looking weld. If that's 12-inch 500 wall, that's a really nice cap for as wide as that cap would have to be. If that was beveled all the way out, just like we do in the pipe welding industry, that's a pretty slick weld.
Yeah.
The color is perfect. It's purple, and I'm a big purple guy with stainless because purple is the final color before it starts getting gray and black. And gray and black is you're cooking it, you're overheating it. Purple, to me, that's what I look for. When I'm welding in the field, I want purple because I'm as hot and as fast as I can be with purple. Yeah. That's how I've always looked at it, you know. Yeah.
So what are you going to give her?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I could pick that thing apart all day long just like a guy can on any weld. You know, when I look at the top, up top, he started getting a little bit, you know, losing a little bit of precision there. But all in all, like when I look down on the side, I see there's a little subtle color change right there. And to me, that looks like a stop and a start, which if that's the case, it's a beautiful stop and a start. I don't know, dude. That's a 9.5 all day long, in my opinion. If that's 12-inch, Schedule 86, 88 wall.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
That's pretty clean. Yeah. Great job, Blake Uner. Great job. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. We got who's this? Go to Caleb Alt. What's he got there?
Got some hot plate.
Screwing around. Yeah, that is hot plate. Yeah. Screwing around with 332 filler, walking the cup TIG, second pass, starting in center and walking it out righty and lefty. Hot. What does it say? Hot cuz? Hot CA. Hotka. That's Hotka. Hotka. He's probably from Canada too. Hotka. Hotka, eh? Yeah. Yeah, it's hot. Hey, you did a good job labeling it hot so nobody puts their hand on it. That is the right thing to do. Good job. 332. Wonder why he's using 332 filler wire when he's tigging, though.
I don't know.
What would you tell him to run, Nathan?
I just don't know. 1/8. I mean, that's my go-to.
Yeah. What's 330? Like, what is 332 good for?
When I'm doing stainless, I'll usually keep some 332 on hand, just for whenever I get to that last quarter of gaps, because the gaps close up so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop down the wire size instead of having to go change my heat. I'll drop down the wire size to finish my route, so I don't have to walk up and down 100 flights of stairs to get to it and change my machine. But
yeah. In the carbon steel world, I've seldomly used 332 carbon. I'd use it for the same reason as you're talking there. This looks to be, that's got to be a V-groove with a backer maybe. I wonder if you could zoom in on that a little bit. Let's look at the edge of that. Is there a backer on that far right side there? Yep. V-groove with a backer. So it looks like he went one way and then went the other way. You know, he's traveling to the left and then traveling to the right. But the biggest problem I got with this thing is it's not welded all the way out. Like, we stopped halfway through, we shined her up a little bit, snapped a picture, wrote Hotka on there. You know, gave her a little hoorah to our hockey team and went about our business. So I don't know. I can't really. It's hard to even rate that thing because it's not welded. It's not welded all the way. It's kind of unfinished business there, isn't it?
yeah, the only thing that's going to look at the end, the middle passes there is the X-ray. Still got to be a good weld, but
yes,
you got to sign them finals off on with the QC.
Yes, X-ray truck will look at that stuff. I'm going to give you a 6. I'm going to give you a 6 there, brother. Finish that weld out and send it in again on next week's live. How about that? Righty, lefty. But I do like that you went righty and then lefty. That's good. That's good practice. Yeah. So that underscore 1889 underscore FR50 sent likes to the host. I'm sending likes back. Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. What we got? All right. Is there opportunities for employment going through the academy? This comes to us from TikTok, Mikey underscore 2021. Yes. So what we do is we have a closed Facebook group. Soon as you get to the stainless in the curriculum, that's when we give you access to it. We've went back and forth on that a couple of times. We used to give access as soon as they become a student, and then we had a couple of students that were like, "Oh, I'm good enough to pass." You know, they would see a job come up there and like, "I'm good enough," and they wouldn't graduate. And I don't like that because we want them to go all the way to the end because, dude, we just want to teach you everything we can teach you. And so then we took it. We said, okay, you can't have it until you graduate. And that didn't really work either because they kind of needed some time to see the jobs coming through there.
Yep. Need a little time to get lined up before you leave school.
Yep. So that way they were lined up right when they left. And so now we do it at the stainless portion of the curriculum. You go in, you see Miss Amy, and she you have to request access to it because it's a closed Facebook group. But all of our manpower requests, all of our contractor requests for welders, we post it in that group, and it's a phenomenal community of Western Welding Academy graduates. A lot of communication back and forth, and it's a digital community. It's literally everybody in there has walked a mile in your shoes that you know as a student that you're trying to walk, and so there's a lot of mentoring that goes on in there. People post jobs. It's a great community. That's how we do our job placement. It's a Facebook. It's Western Welding Academy members only, and it's a closed group. We give you access to it when you get to the stainless steel portion of your curriculum. So, which is about like 3 weeks before they graduate.
Yep, right about 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some guys knock it out quicker than that, but the time allotted is right at 3 weeks.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, Ryan Baker, what you got there? Couple of welds. He says the side welds on the bottom picture isn't my work. Just did the last 3 beats on top to close it up. The top 2 pictures are MIG, and the second, I believe, is 7018. I believe. I have a dream, and I believe that Ryan Baker is going to show us a slick-looking weld that's not his weld. Except he was there, and he took a picture of it. Hey, that's a good-looking weld.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder where he's working. You know what that looks like? That looks like a dummy leg base plate that's about to get bolted down to some concrete. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. I definitely welded plenty of those.
Is that galvanized?
Well, it's hard to tell. I don't see much smoke or splatter, so
he cleaned it.
He's done a really good cleanup job.
With the exception of the one guy, everybody has been cleaning their welds. So I feel like this live stream is positively impacting millions of people because they're cleaning their welds and they're taking pride in their work. And if we literally accomplish nothing else, but we got some people to believe in themselves and take pride in their work, hey, hats off. That's success, right?
If that is galvanized, can I give one little quick tip of the day?
I was actually hoping that you would tell us about a time that you had to weld some galvanized.
I try not to remember those times. But no, there's one little quick tip. There's actually 2 things I've done. Is you take and spray WD-40 when you go to grind the galvanized off. You spray WD-40 on there, and that keeps that galvanized from building up in your grinding wheel, and it cleans it off down to the metal. Like really? 10 times faster and gets it way cleaner. Really? Yeah. That, or you can take and just regular old turtle wax. Yeah. I actually seen an electrician doing this, grinding off so he could put his stud on there, so he could hook his ground clamp to the beam. Rub turtle wax on there and then let it dry till it's waxed, and then you can grind it off, and it'll take that galvanized right off.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Works amazing. So if you're up in a pipe rack down south around saltwater and you're in galvanized, like carry a can of WD-40 with you if they'll allow you.
Really? Yeah. I never knew that. And that's the beauty of these kind of conversations that we have on live streams. Because I never knew that. I can't tell you how many. No, I mean, and the dust flying around and it stinks and I'm breathing it and it makes it taste funny in my mouth, like it gums up the grinding wheel. Yeah, and I took to putting an 1/8 inch cutoff wheel. That's what, like grinding paint or galvanized, cleaning it up, getting ready for welding. That's what I just started doing because I mean it just gums everything up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would do. I first started out doing that. I take cutoff wheel and just get down through because you can see the change in sparks. Once you get through the galvanized, you hit that steel, and that'll get you down to where you can burn through it. But just hit that sucker with a grinder, some WD-40 on your wheel, and it will take it right off.
I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah. Galvanizing has got it's got a lot of zinc in it, and so if you're out there and you're watching this and you don't know what galvanizing is it's a dip coating where they take the metal and they dip it in this super hot liquid of, I don't know what all is in it, zinc and a bunch of other nasty chemicals, and it keeps the metal from corroding or rusting. Problem is when you got to go put those parts together, which is super common on piping supports, and you got to grind that stuff off so you can weld it, and then it's like a cold galv spray that you spray over. It's like a paint that patches that hot galv, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty common in the field that you're gonna have to weld to a galvanized beam, or you're gonna have to weld to something that's galvanized, and that zinc, when it comes out, the fumes that make you sick. OSHA could tell you what the allowable amount being in that fumes, which is not very much, but it can make you so sick if you're in it. If you were in galvanized for 10 hours a day for, I don't know, I mean, like heavy galvanized smoke, it makes a real white, thick smoke. It can make you sick enough to kill you. Like I've been sick enough to where it was like I got kind of like flu-like symptoms, and the old guys say, "Oh, just go home and drink a bunch of milk." Somehow the milk flushes it out of your system, gets rid of it. But the biggest thing is wear a respirator, work in the wind where it's blowing it, downwind from you, out of, away from you. I mean, it's really common. It's not like, it's not gonna. I mean, cadmium. There is some coatings out there that are really dangerous, but I mean, these contractors are, for the most part, they know what's going on. They're not gonna even allow you to be put in that situation. But I didn't know the WD-40 trick. I like that. I really like that. Learned something new today. I like that. So, but this guy, back to his weld, looks like a base plate, and dude, pretty clean weld. He cleaned up the base plate really well, like that I like, and judging by the lack of smoke on that base plate, I would say that he cleaned up that galvanizing really good. The weld's tight, clean. He's got a little one-pass fillet weld around there, and what it looks like to me, if Quasi, you can zoom in on that a little bit, it looks like he went one way and then the other way, or is that just a stop and a start? It might just be a stop and a start, but maybe just a dab of undercut on the top there. But just overall, pretty good looking little weld, huh?
Yeah, pretty nice little one passer.
Yeah.
Probably could have slowed down just a little bit there, paid a little more attention to them edges and filled them in a little better. But
yeah, maybe just slow down just a hair on the travel speed. It looks like the heat's set pretty good. Yeah, nice work. I would give that a 7.5 all day long.
Oh yeah.
If he slowed down just a little bit, filled it in just a little bit, yeah, that'd make all the difference in the world. All right, so we have one more. Rate my weld here. This is coming to us from unknown, #unknown. Wherever you are, you're probably not a Canadian with a hockey team. You probably don't say A. What is that, 1/2 inch plate?
Looks like some pretty thick plate.
Yeah. That's like some old stuff that they dug out of the scrap bin there maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Welded her together. That you know what that's got commitment written all over it. Like I mean, really, I dug some stuff out of the scrap bin. I'm committed to being a welder, and I welded it, and I DM'd it to Western Welding Academy because I wanted to hear what they had to say.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that weld there if we can. Let's check her out. We're 7018.
Is that a V groove or is that a fillet weld? Is it a lap weld?
That's hard to tell. It looks like kind of. When it was zoomed out, it looked like a lap weld. But
Yeah, same. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a lap weld, but then zoomed in, it almost looks like a V groove.
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell if there's a difference in elevation there, but it kind of looks like that bead's laid a little sideways.
What about them dog knots he left on the edges there, them sides?
Yeah, it looks like he tried to knock that one off down there on the left there.
Uh-huh.
It looked like he hit it with a.
He's whooping
Chip
on
and
that
hammer.
thing with the slag hammer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Tried.
He did, yes. Like a plus 20 for digging this out of the scrap bin, because I mean the current state of that metal right there, I know this came from a scrap bin, and old dude just welded that together. He said, "Here's my entry." Is that what he said? I want to read the comments. "Here's my entry. I love it, Mr. Unknown. You are an unknown individual. You are the unknown welder." And you whooped on that thing with that slag hammer. Beat them BBs off. Hand brushed it. Definitely did not wire wheel it. But it looks like he does possess a grinder because he ground on that thing before he welded it.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Maybe take the grinder and bump them big old dog knots off, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Another little quick tip there. If you get some BBs that just won't quite come off, they're just about welded on there. Sometimes I use my chip and hammer if I got one. A lot of times I try not to carry chip and hammer, but I'll put the chip and hammer up there against the bottom of that, and I'll hit the end of it with the hammer.
Ball
and
peen.
the ball peen, and it'll knock those right off. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah, ball peen hammer. Handier than a pocket on a shirt. You know. You can use a ball peen hammer for a lot of things. A lot more just hammering. I've done some things I'm not going to say here. Yes, sir. Yeah, I like that. The other trick that I've seen guys do is take a file, and I've done this before, and if you take a file, you want to get a bucket of cold water. In the very end of the file, maybe I'll shoot a video on this, but they actually bevel the file, and that, you know, a file is such hard material. They're so brittle. And if you grind on it, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work because you got to grind on it and dip it in the water. Grind on it because otherwise the file loses its temper. But basically what you're doing is you create a knife on the edge of that file, and you bevel it down and gets a really sharp point. And when welding a bunch of plate, you slide that thing down that plate and it just pops them BBs off. Like, works really, really good. I learned that from an old man. Yeah. That's another little trick that I like to use. If you got the time to sharpen up a file. Of course, time you do that, you don't want to get rid of it, you know, but holds that edge really good.
yeah, with that, I mean, you got the splatter off there. Probably I'll dock you a couple points for that, I think. The weld itself looks pretty nice. I'd say a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get rid of that splatter on the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. Clean it up a little bit. Maybe take that grinder if you can't and bump them dog knots off there. But, dude, Mr. Unknown, my hat's off to you. You dug that metal out of the scrap bin. You hauled it up there. You welded it together. So work ethic is a solid 10. Keep up the good work. Come back to us next week. Send your weld in. Instagram DMs at Western Welding Academy. What we got for time? We wrapping? So, yeah, with that being said, if you're on TikTok, come to us on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, come to us on Instagram. Drop us a comment, like, share, and subscribe. I do believe that we've got a winner. Who's the winner for this week? Radical Operations? Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Radical Operations. You are the winner for this week's Slick Weld. What I want you to do is I want you to DM us your address, and we're going to send a little care package over to you. Dude.
Nice work.
Nice work.
Definitely want to see some more welds.
Yes.
Special shout out to Devontae Acuna for getting wild up on that forklift.
Hey, yes. Special shout out to Devontae Acuna for getting wild up on that forklift. Devontae, I just want to let you know you are my hero. And you Canadians, keep it real up there. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you want more information, you can go to applytoweld.com. And, hey, drop us a comment, like, share, subscribe. If there's something you want to see us do, dude, drop it to us in the DMs. Send us a message, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much any social media platform. And then I would also like to just recap that America definitely, Devontae, my hat is off to you for the wild forklift experience that you shared with us. But I think our hockey team takes yours. All right? Over and out.
All right.
See you
See
next
you guys
week.
on the next weld.